Hello everyone, welcome back to the shed. It's been a while. As you can see, and by the title, we've got the Metropolitan E classes. Apologies for that jump cut, my camera has been throwing wobblies, in fact two. You won't have seen the previous bit of footage I just tried to record because it decided to have some control data error again. I don't know what that is, I might just need to wipe the SD card and start again. Anyway, as I was saying, this component right here, I will leave a comment or I will edit the description and I will put the results of my experiment if I do bother to try and fix that bit of chip paint with some Tamiya flat black. That is usually the correct shade for modelling black on anything. It usually matches Bachmann's and Hornby's plastic black that they mould in, which is why I usually use it. So it may be a little touch up on that brass component right there where it's just showing some of its brass through. Can fix it. I'm actually wondering now. No, they are meant to be at that angle. Okay. The pipe work along the boiler is really nice. The rivet detail on the smoke box is really nice as well. The con rods are a nice bright red, not just like sort of is a London Transport maroon, I suppose. It's not London Transport red. That's red. L48 written on the buffer beam in sort of gold as well. Lank brackets look really nice. There's a nice handrail around the top of the smoke box door there. Handles on the smoke box door are really nice as well. Looking at the rear, you've got L48 in sort of yellow. Maybe closer to ochre. No, not ochre. It's a slightly different shade of yellow to the lining, I think. Really nice hooks up here for the fire irons on top of this water tank. Really nice. There's also one by the cab window. I can't really turn. I have to swap hands. Right here. Can't get the light, there it is. Right there. Looking underneath, we've got pickups on all four drivers. Trying to actually see if the camera's picking it up or not. Yep. Cool. And there's also wiring to the trailing wheels as well on the bottom. So I'm guessing there are pickups on the trailing wheels as well. Yes, there are, but instead of having the pickups at the bottom of the wheel, the pickups are at the top, as it were. So there are plenty of pickups on this. Part of me hopes there is some form of stay alive which could help assist those. Then again, we'll see how it runs on dirty track, because it may not even need a stay alive. Of course, the general guidance is clean your track, but still. And now Metropolitan number 1. Fantastic livery, classic. Metropolitan crest, Metropolitan 1, and a tiny, tiny, tiny E underneath the 1. A lot of the same detail, no issue with any chipping on this component right here. See that little loop right there? No issues with that. Lining on the buffer beam, but no number. Number on the rear with a tiny E beneath the 1 again. Below. Oh look, sprung buffers. Sam's Trains will be pleased. Just noticed the sandpipes. They're really nicely done. Or are they done in black on this? No, they're not. I only just noticed on this one. Brake rigging's also nice as well in terms of detailing. Probably should have gone into that. Steps are really nice as well. This also has wiring to the rear bogie, which you would expect. Or rear pony. It's a pair of wheels. It's a bogie, I suppose. The cab detail looks to be the same, if not similar. Coal load looks pretty good, but a bit shiny. Could do with a little bit of a real coal load maybe. Although that's actually pretty good in terms of plastic, so maybe you don't really need it. Maybe I'm clutching at straws. The lining on the wheels is really nice, which you don't get on the London Transport one, because of course this is tarted up. Looks very nice. Lining on the boiler is also different. This is yellow and black. There's actually no lining on the boiler on the London Transport one, so that's even more embellishment to this one. Looks really good. No moving roof vents, which I'm kind of pleased about. I feel like that was a gimmick that lasted way too long. Moving roof vents. These are just moulded. Although, no. They're modelled inside. That's why I thought for a moment they might move. No, I believe they are in fact just straight up moulded. Okay, good. I just want to check the... Yeah, okay. So underneath, near these rear sandpipes, focus, there we go, you can see the holes. I'm guessing this is for the speaker, so the sound can actually escape the model, because there might be a hole in the chimney. It actually looks die cast in there, so it might just be straight to the chassis. Anyway, just pop these on the track. That's what I wanted to talk about as well. See inside there, the red, that will be the inside cylinder motion. Of course it won't move, it's 00. But it's very nice that they've bothered to model that. Paint it up nice and red so you can actually see it as well. And I want to turn this one around. Okay. So it makes no sense showing these two separately running around the layout nice and quietly, so I'm only going to run the London Transport one round first, just to make sure all of the, well, it handles all the point work correctly, and we'll see what sort of motor noise we end up with when it's just running silent. So, what do I need to do now? I need to unisolate the track, set to DCC, I need to whip out the controller, ta-da, and first of all I'm going to program a address. So, it seems Andy's been using something with address 3. So I want to program on the main address 3, I want to give it an address, I want to give it a short address of 48. So that is now on, and I want to check the sound list just real quick. So whistle was 3, wasn't it? Yeah, that's a very accurate whistle. Anyway, as I was saying, we don't want sound, we want to just run this silent, so let's give it some power. So she runs perfectly smooth. There's a little bit of motor noise because this is fresh out of the box. I haven't even run it in yet. This is 80 on the DCC, so it runs relatively slowly. Handles the express point perfectly fine. Handled all the points in the yard fine as well, including the double slip. I'm surprised this runs as slowly as it does at 80, considering I've seen this thing doing about 45 mile an hour on the fast lines on the Metropolitan. This thing can really put in a good turn of speed. Other express points. Yep, lovely. So I've now run both the models in. The motor noise seems to have quietened a little. You can still hear it though. You're not going to get entirely silent stuff now, I don't think. To be honest, I can't really remember the last completely silent model I had straight out of the box. It might have been Acura's Deltic. So something with an even higher price tag than this, I believe. Or a similar price tag, to be honest. 200 odd quid? Yeah. Well, both were sound fitted, of course, so. Anyway, I digress. They both run in. So now we should move on to the sound. So to demonstrate the sound, I'm going to use L48. As you can see here, now I've got sort of a train to run with things. These are Bachmann wagons. This is a Rapido wagon. This is a Bachmann brake van, all London Transport. What you're seeing in the back is Hornby generic coaches. They are GNR, Great Northern Railway. So they're not quite Metropolitan, but I think they look the part enough. Hopefully, maybe someone takes up the mantle to the Hatton's generic coaches, and we end up with something London Transport or Metropolitan. Anyway, on to sounds. So first things first, sound on. Just to check. Yeah, firebox glow works. There's a bit of an orange flicker and a constant red. It's pretty good. Does it actually light up the cab much? Yeah, it does, actually. Not sure you can really see it on the video though. Okay, 2 is brake, but it's standing still, so that doesn't work. 3 is playable whistle. Pretty good. And short whistle. Yep. Guard's whistle and driver right away whistle. That's pretty good. Both of those worked off the same function. That was a on for the guard's whistle and off for the loco's whistle. Heavy mode, that's of course when it's moving. Train set mode, when it's moving. Mind the gap, please. Ah, boo, it's a modern announcement. Actually, there is an alternate version, so I'm wondering if that's the older Mind the Gap, which will work alongside my London Transport pannier tank, because I got that custom done. Some Jamie Goodman sound, I've got that custom put on there. Anyway, next is coal shovelling, which also automatically puts on the firebox glow as well. Let's see. Coasting my injectors. It also seems coal shovelling is randomised as well. So that'll be your injector. Yeah, okay. Blower. Yeah, safety valve. Drain cocks is low speed only. vacuum brake ejector off. Right. Water tank filling. Yeah, that's pretty good. Flange squeal is low speed only, sound fader, shunt mode, coupling, uncoupling. Yep. Please stand behind the yellow line. That's given me real memories of summer steam on the Met. Every minute or two there was a woman making an announcement just like that, just telling people to stay behind the yellow line because there were so many people on the platform. Train 150 due to depart due in 1 minute. Okay, that's fair enough. That would be very much for... Oh, it's so bloody loud. That would be very much for Met number 1. Way over in the corner, up here, over here. I know that London Transport are getting an exclusive version of Met number 1, which I think is the exact same as the 2013 to 2020 version, but it has a train L150 headboard. Anyway, last one, mind the gap. Yes, there we go. That's the one. Classic announcement. Anyway, that's the one I prefer. So you've got the modern mind the gap and the classic. Okay, that's pretty good. In terms of functions there, absolutely fantastic. Some of those sounded really good. It's good that you don't need to press 0 to turn the firebox glow on and then do the coal shoveling. It's just an auto. You can just press the coal shoveling. It will do the firebox glow automatically. Also, the fact it's randomised, you don't have to do it constantly. You don't have to do it yourself. That's pretty good. And of course, it's got sort of all the automatic like injectors, blowers. It's going. It's just sitting here, whatever. So in terms of a sound profile, that's really good. The station announcements are really good as well. The whistle's really accurate, actually. I remember thinking, wow, that's actually a really deep whistle. And yeah, that is absolutely perfect. That's spot on. As I did earlier with L48, I have programmed and addressed into Met number 1 as well. So this is 48, that is 1. So the next thing is running this around the layout with the sound. What I will do is I'll record a bit of footage with L48 and then Met number 1. I'm not going to run them at the same time, otherwise you're not going to be able to hear things too accurately. So let's go with guard's whistle and right away and move L48 out of the yard. So, function 5. Well, it would have been nice if it went, but it's not. Why is it not going? Is there any particular reason why not? Tell you what, we'll turn it off and on again. There we go. I have no idea what that was about. So that's Rapido's Metropolitan E class. It's a pretty damn good loco. Detailing's fantastic, printing's really good. The whole paint job looks fantastic. The fact they've bothered to do the London transport on L48, as would be the same on L44, in sort of gold, is a really good touch. Firebox glow seems to be a new sprung buffers situation. It seems to be shoehorning itself in as a standard practice now, which I can't complain about, but I'm not too fussed about having it on my models. I've never been bothered about that. Although I suppose 2 LEDs and a function isn't going to drive the price up that much. Right, let's talk about price, because these are pricey. I believe these sit, say if you bought them from Rails of Sheffield, so not RRP, I believe they're £240 a piece, roughly, sound fitted. Is that worth it? Well, take £100 off, you're looking at, what, 140 for a 044? It's a bit up there, but the detailing you're getting on this model is really good. Plus, it's a bit of a niche, which I suppose brings me on to the point of why should you get one of these? If you're modelling London Transport, you're going to want a London Transport 1 or 2, because there's 2 running numbers, of course. And if you're a fan of Metropolitan number 1, you might want this one, or the other variation of the livery, sort of early 2000s preservation livery. Or of course you're modelling modern underground, you're going to want a Metropolitan number 1. In terms of preservation, I'm not sure how many preserved railways this has actually got around to visiting. I've seen it only on the Metropolitan, the District, and at Quainton Road, actually on their preserved bit of track, not connected to the main line, as it were. Let's talk about issues before I try and wager anything else on when or why you should get one of these. Issues with L48, a small bit of chipped paint that is kind of obvious because it's a black piece in a black area, and the missing paint, you can really sort of see that, so that's going to have to get touched up with some Tamiya flat black, I think. Metropolitan number 1, there is one issue. The lining on this rear driver is not centered properly, so when it's going around the track it sort of looks like the wheel isn't properly centered, but it's the lining that's not properly centered. So that's a bit of a shame, but it doesn't affect the actual operational running, so both of those are cosmetic / paint things. Those are things to watch for, so maybe if you're looking to get one of these, actually go in person, see the model itself, check those that I've just pointed out, and then decide whether you should buy that model. In terms of if you're actually looking for one of these, again, refer back to what I just said about what you're modelling, or if you're just a big fan of Metropolitan number 1. In terms of rolling stock to run with this, again, there's a few London Transport wagons out there. Rapido obviously realised that there's not actually that much out there ready to run, so one of the wagons you saw behind L48 is Rapido's own. I do have the Metropolitan wagon they've done, which is the same 1907 diagram wagon, but with Met written on the side, because you're going to probably want a wagon to run with Met number 1. There are a number of kits out there, and of course there's plenty of transfers, so you can make up your own wagons. Again, in terms of like coaching stock ready to run, there's nothing really London Transport out there, so your best bet for something with Met number 1, if it's like sort of steam on the Met kind of thing, this rake of GNR generics has been doing the trick. I think it looked pretty snazzy going around the layout. So again, the price I think is pretty good in terms of the detail you're getting. The only letdown is those slight imperfections in the way the paint's been done, the lining on the wheel on Met 1 and that little chipped bit of black paint on L48. I think those are the only real letdowns. Motor noise is not noticeable when the sound is running. It's a little bit noticeable when it's silent, even after running in. But it may be a case of a little bit of gear lube, something to just help it run a little freer, and more running in. I did run them for the bare minimum in both directions, which is 30 minutes at a sort of medium speed. So £240 for one of these is pretty steep. I don't imagine many people are going to get more than one. I got the pair because I like collecting London Transport. I didn't get L48, even though I do collect London Transport, because what did I just say? I didn't get L48. I didn't get L44. I did get L48 because L44 was Met number 1 when it was under London Transport. So if I'm getting Met number 1, what's the point of getting a loco with the same number, or it is the same loco but before this? Didn't make too much sense. Plus it would limit me a bit in what I would be running on the layout, because I'd like to run my panniers and my Prairie and my 20s and my Met Bobos as well, which are preservation era livery as well. So I am rule one-ing it a bit, but still. So let's go over the points again. Price is a bit high. You're probably going to want one of these, or know that you modelled this if you're a London Transport collector. If you're modelling preservation, or if you're modelling the modern underground, you may very well want Metropolitan number 1 in one of its 2 liveries. The sound profile is absolutely fantastic. I have no complaints with that at all. It sounds properly done, and all the announcements as well, and there's some really good variation to the whistle as well. So I'd recommend, if you want a sound one, buy a sound fitted one straight out the gate, instead of trying to fit it yourself. So overall, a really nice model. Price may be a bit rich for some people, but I imagine people who actually want this locomotive for their collection are willing to shell out for at least one of these. And packaging's perfectly fine. It's more than adequate with all the foam in the box as well. Again, only letdowns are misaligned lining on the wheel and a bit of chipped paint. That is it. So I think Rapido's done a pretty damn good job with this model. And its turnaround has actually been pretty good. I believe this was announced Ali Pally. Oh, when was it announced? Was it 2022, 2023? I think it's only been about a year and a half for a turnaround, so maybe it was 2023 when this was announced. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So it's taken a year and a half from announcement to actually being released and on people's layouts. I think that's really good in terms of modern production. I think I've covered everything. I'm not too sure if I've actually sold anyone watching on whether they should get one of these or not. Because it's a niche. Again, I hate to keep going on about this, but it is a small market for like the ready-to-run scene, London Transport and Metropolitan. I can't think of another ready-to-run. Yes, I can. The Metropolitan Bobos. That's it in terms of Metropolitan stuff. London Transport is a good bit of ready-to-run now, thanks to EFE, Helyan and Bachmann, mostly because London Transport Museum has commissioned a lot of these items. Oh, and the Class 20s, of course. Sorry. Yeah, London Transport Museum has commissioned a lot of these items. The only other thing that really Bachmann have done of their own abide is pannier tanks in ready-to-run form. So I think that's pretty much everything. If you have any questions about the models, do leave a comment. I will try and reply if you've got any questions. Unfortunately, I am kind of busy nowadays with work. A lot of it's on nights, so I spend most of my days actually sleeping, which is sort of annoying because lack of vitamin D, not out in the sun. Anyway, I digress. Do leave a comment if you have any questions about the models. Maybe there's something I didn't cover, or maybe something specific about one of these two variants of the Met E class that you want to know about. So until the next time we are in the shed, goodbye.